What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Hobgoblin versus Patrician DRZ. Today we've got some choice mods going on. Both of these bikes are both the stars of the show today. We've got these absolutely chonky, there goes the skid plate, chunky TKC 80s that are going on the Gixxer. We're going from RS10s to TKC 80s.
I don't think anybody's ever done that in the history of riding a motorcycle.
I don't think so, but that goes to show you the dual purpose nature of the Gixxer 250. And then as you guys heard just earlier, because we're very professional around here, we've got some aluminum that we're going to be cutting and molding to shape a beautiful skid plate on the Gixxer, because there's a giant fin on the bottom of the engine that if I hit a rock, I will just splooge oil everywhere. Going to be cleaning the bike up a little bit too, and you've got something pretty sweet going on that bike, right?
Yeah, so this is our last mod for the DRZ 400 that Partzilla has sent us, a Trail Tech dashboard. This is the Vapor, and there's a lot of things I gotta cut and splice into, so it should be a bit of an adventure.
Let's get into it.
Alrighty guys, so like I said earlier, we are doing ourselves a Trail Tech Vapor dashboard to replace the chunked up and busted dashboard that is on this DRZ. At one point it was upside down, and now the underside is like cracked and bondoed. I don't even know what kind of weird plastic material they used to try and get it back together, but it looks like complete right now. It looks real bad. And this Trail Tech is going to clean it up very nicely. Now this dash was sent to us by the fine folks over at Partzilla, who have decided to throw their back behind the DRZ project right here, making it as good as it can possibly be. They are the cheapest place for OEM and aftermarket parts on the web, and you can click the link down below to check out all kinds of parts for your project. While you're down there, go ahead and get yourself entered to win over $1,400 worth of parts for your DRZ or your project in store credit. They're giving away the equivalent value or the exact same parts that we have put on this bike right here. Click that link down below, get yourself entered to win all of those parts or cash on your account, and big shout out to Partzilla for helping me put this bike back together.
Alright guys, so today the Hobgoblin's getting some fun upgrades. The first one is actually in the form of this Kydex over here. Kydex is a thermoplastic in which you actually put a little bit of heat on this and you can mold it and bend it. It becomes malleable and you can make whatever you want to make with it. Today we're going to be making a sweet little flat tracker style front plate on this motorcycle. It should be pretty cool. We're also going to clean up and cover up some of the bits and bobs here. As much as I didn't want to clean this motorcycle up, I do think it deserves just a modicum of dignity. So that's some of the other things we're going to be doing on this bike too, is kind of adjusting the handlebars, kind of cleaning things up a little bit. We've obviously got those TKC 80s coming. The tires are actually getting put on the wheels right now, and then we're going to walk over why we've decided to go with such an aggressive dual purpose tire. Spoiler alert, we're building a little adventure bike. And then we're also going to be building a skid plate out of this raw sheet of aluminum here. Let me show you what I mean underneath the frame rails here. So by the mercy of some sort of Turbo Hayabusa overlord, the Gixxer 250 actually comes blessed to us with a cradle frame. That makes it really, really simple to build a skid plate around this thing, because it actually already has two bolt holes right here that you can mate up and actually cover up and make sure that you don't hit any rocks on the bottom of your engine. As I told you guys, there's a big fin right over here at the bottom of this engine case, and I don't know if it actually has oil in it or not, and I don't want to find out. So we're going to be putting a nice skid plate right here to make sure that we can actually crawl over rocks and slide over things and not worry about it when we're taking our Gixxer out on some big adventures, which we kind of want to do with this bike to see if it can really defeat the DRZ, which is a proper dual sport. But this thing, it's kind of turning into a pretty sweet dual sport if you ask me. Let's get into it. Normally on a motorcycle that you care about, you'd want to, if you want to remove the horn or service the horn or something like that, you'd carefully remove the plugs and make sure the horn is in place. But with the Gixxer 250, you just kind of do one of those and get yourself a nice 2-pound weight reduction.
So why is the gas tank off?
No reason.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no reason at all. Don't worry about it.
Kind of looks like the evap canister's still there.
No, there's no reason. Don't worry about it. This isn't my own hubris coming back to bite me once again. What do you think about stitching these bad boys back together with some duct tape?
That That seems just jank enough for the Gixxer. Alrighty guys, so I have taken all the stuff for this Vapor out of the box and I've been reviewing it here. So essentially what we have is we have a new dashboard that's got a bunch of plugs on it. One of these is outside temperature, engine speed, we have the wheel speed sensor, and then we have a power cable, and that's going to go directly to the battery. All of these are going to require cutting and splicing into various systems on the motorcycle. This guy right here goes around the spark plug and it actually reads the impulses from the engine. This guy goes down to the front fork and the magnet on a rotor spins, and that's how we determine wheel speed. There's a little bit of math that needs to go into that, which is great because I think I got like a C in basic geometry and stuff like that, so we should be okay there. And then we have power for the unit when it's on. It does have its own little battery, so it remembers mileage and stuff like that, but it needs power from the bike. And then, mercifully, we have this. This is the engine temperature, or well, water temperature sensor, because it's going to theoretically splice in between two chunks of hose. I actually have to cut a radiator hose to install this. I do not need to do this because my motorcycle actually already has one of these sensors on there from the previous owner. Fingers crossed it works, because if it doesn't, then we need to go back to this. But I'm gonna take the path of least resistance and start with the water sensor that's already in the radiator. Since we're not doing oil temperature, which is the more fancy way to do it, it doesn't really matter where in the radiator system we measure temperature, because it's all going to be the same temperature in the radiator. So we are going to take all the plastic off the DRZ and just start installing stuff. Alrighty guys, we've made some progress on the DRZ 400 right here. As you can tell, this dashboard is no longer doing the dashboard thing. It is off the motorcycle, and if you were curious how chunked up and gnarled this thing is, it's real rough. I'm not sure how it got this damaged in the first place, but I imagine it hit the ground like that. And just shattered, and it worked well enough, but it's going to be really nice to get rid of this old clunky boxy dual sport dash in favor of this Vapor right here. Now, the keen-eyed observers out there will notice that I still have some lights from the original dashboard that are just kind of crudely sitting there. Vapor actually does make a surround for this, which you can plumb lights up into, and I don't have it. So we're gonna be running these right now, and then next time I'll have the lights set up properly around the dashboard so it doesn't look ugly like that. I have to get the water temperature sensor, the engine speed sensor, and the wheel speed sensor all plugged up. And then I work on power, and then I'm done. It's not that hard actually, believe it or not. Alrighty guys, so I have tied the TrailTech dash to my harness by using this plug, which used to be on my stock dashboard. So it's pretty simple actually to just go in and add a hotline to this. You just need to know where to look for a spare plug if you don't want it tied directly into the harness. I know it works because I turn the key and the light comes on the dashboard. It's actually backlit, so you can see what's going on. My neutral light comes on, the blinkers come on just like they're supposed to. The high beam does not work on this bike. I mean, the high beam does work, but the light doesn't. And I've never seen the oil temperature thing come on, so I think it works and the bike just is in good shape. Fingers crossed. So the TrailTech is officially installed. Now I need to do the calibration for the speed sensor, and then I'm done.
So we're now taking this piece of cardboard to create our skid plate on the Gixxer.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, so we finished the DRZ, that thing's all done, and now I have graciously offered my help to you building this thing. So what we need to do is we've got 4 bolt holes on the underside of this bike that we need to fabricate this to match. And we need to figure out what we need to cut off. Instead of diving right in with the raw metal, we're going to use this, see how it fits, and then we'll cut up the raw metal and start shaping it using our big ass vise.
Just remember, it's a Gixxer, doesn't need to be perfect.
Doesn't need to be perfect.
Let's do this. All right guys, Spite and I just mocked up the Gixxer skid plate using this little bit of cardboard here, slowly and painstakingly just looking it through. As we mentioned, there's quite a few good bolt holes right here on this frame, so we can utilize those. And upon mocking it up here, it looks like it's gonna be pretty good. I know right now it's just made out of cardboard, so it's hard to see, but looks like it's gonna be kind of a proper little skid plate. We're pretty stoked on it. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's after hours here on Yammie Noob, and how long did this take us?
We were probably wrenching on this for like a good 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours.
So we totally spaced on filming. Whitney isn't here today, so it was just
which is why it
Spite and
probably
I.
looks the way that it does.
Yeah, like the shop, I just want you guys to see what it took between us to actually do this.
Not pictured is the Sawzall.
Yeah, a Sawzall made an appearance. The drill, the Dremel, the angle grinder, we busted through the battery. But ladies and germs, a skid plate is on this bike, baby.
Let me get a light in there so y'all can see it in its glory.
Y'all gotta see this in its maximum glory. Oh. Full protection for that fin. We had to use the taint smasher technique to bend it. But my God, we did it though.
We really did.
This bike has a skid plate on it. And now we're gonna go home because it's late and we're not gonna clean anything up. And we're gonna film an outro tomorrow or something. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Oh my God, but we did it.
We did it, man.
Alrighty folks, after some huffing and puffing here in the shop, both of these bikes are just about done, right, Spite? Well, the DRZ is truly done, right?
Yes, sort of. So, I tested the Vapor Dash. This is actually on day 2, so I rode it around earlier this morning, and we're reading the right speed, we are reading the right engine speed, we are not reading the right temperature. So
are you still at negative 41 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever?
It's just not reading the right temperature. So I think the sensor that's in here needs to be replaced. That doesn't surprise me. It's old, like a lot of stuff on this motorcycle. So
well, your kit came with the sensor, right? So
it came with a sensor, so I guess I could just drain all the fluid, or I could replace the one up top, whichever I feel like at the time. I think I'm probably just gonna get a replacement threaded up sensor right here. It's super easy.
Yeah.
But the Trail Tech Dash is working, it's programmed. We're all set here. Once I get the little thing to deal with the dangling lights situation,
yeah,
I can thoroughly say that this motorcycle has been completed. But I feel like we still have a few things here and there to knock out on the Gixxer.
Yeah, so we didn't film enough yesterday because Spite and I really went through a war of attrition to build and mount this skid plate on this bike. If you guys are thinking of doing something like this, I would highly recommend you don't bend the metal to do it. You should probably just like figure out a way to just weld the pieces on and then bolt them up. I was thinking about this after I went home and I was like, that would have been so much easier. But we went full unga bunga and just bent aluminum until it just worked on the bottom of this bike. So we have a skid plate on it. Are we proud of it? Probably not, but it's on the Gixxer, so everything is kind of haphazard on it anyways. What we are proud of though is the overall transformation of this bike, right?
Yeah.
We've got a couple more things we want to do to it. We want to put that flat tracker plate on the front and then cover up this over here, but that's pretty mild cosmetics we can tackle at any given time. But to think that this bike started life as a crappy little sport bike that had no business being on the track and then became this reasonably competent scrambler is pretty cool. Like,
yeah.
These knobbies look so aggressive on this thing, man. Like, I can't wait to see how it works off-road.
Honestly, I feel like it took me a minute to really start to get the Gixxer identity, and then once we put the knobbies on there, it went from being just a broken, crappy motorcycle to one where I'm like, okay, I get the image now.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's got like a Mad Max flavor to it. It's kind of apocalyptic in its execution. I love the Harley Davidson long brake line here. My favorite part about this bike is that it is built as a scrambler, but it still has these just like huffy bike forks on it. So you've got 8 inches of ground clearance, but 4 inches of suspension travel. Does that make any sense? No, it does not. But we have to see how this thing jumps and goes off-road and do everything. So you guys better stay tuned, because next month we're gonna have an amazing video where both of these bikes are gonna be adventurized and had some fun with, right, Spike?
Yeah, we are going to do the final showdown. We're gonna get the Gixxer in final fighting form, and we're gonna take these motorcycles out and do the absolute final battle. Determine once and for all, Gixxer 250 or DRZ 400.
These bikes are surprisingly similar. This bike weighs about 335 right now, and I think the DRZ is like 320, 315, something like that.
Yeah, it's 317 with the stock metal tank, so with a full tank, this one's a little heavier than stock, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah, and I've got better rubber than you do at this point. You've
But-
got way better suspension than I do, though.
Yeah, and Partzilla has set us up on this motorcycle.
Yeah.
So
it's truly, I mean, the transformation on this thing has been just amazing.
yeah, we will create a little bit of a video going through all of the things that we changed on here, going back and showing the original form of this motorcycle and where it is now, because I think over the last few months, you might have forgotten just how crusty this motorcycle was.
Even your buddies were surprised, right? You
Yeah.
walked up to like a bike meet and they were like, is that the same DRZ?
Yeah,
What?
so it really has gone through a night and day change. So stay tuned for that one as well.
Yeah.
And a big shout out to Partzilla for helping us get this motorcycle into fighting form. Remember, you gotta click that link down below. Check out their giveaway where they're giving away all of the parts that went on this motorcycle, or the cash value equivalent if you don't have a wretched DRZ yourself. Get yourself entered to win over $1,400 worth of parts. And don't forget to check them out, because they are the cheapest source of OEM parts on the internet, and they will help you out with all of your projects on your motorcycles at home. So,
Did you almost say boner cycle?
boner cycle? God. It's been a long project. This video's taken like 2 days.
Partzilla, parts for your boner cycle. That fits the ethos and the theme of this video. See you later. Hey you. Yeah, click the Yammie new video right over there. You should do it. Click that video. Keep watching. Some good stuff. You should really check it out. Hey, look over there. Go click the video. Look, go click it. Click it right now. Do it. Click that video right now. Do it. Do it. Do it.